And we're ready.
Thank you. Okay, welcome to the May 22nd, 2024 regular meeting of Hamilton City Council. It's a little after 6 o'clock. We're here in council chambers at 345 High Street in Hamilton. We do have two public hearings this evening, one of which involves short-term rentals. The other one involves with regulating marijuana, cannabis operations, cultivation, dispensaries. So let's do a roll call vote.
Moeller,
Present.
Holman,
Present.
Ryan,
Present.
Fear,
Present.
Vaughn,
Present.
Nab,
Present.
Lauer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we're going to start off with offering a prayer by Councilmember Susan Vaughn, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you are able.
Father, we gather this evening as members of Hamilton City Council, mindful of the opportunity to serve our community. We seek guidance, wisdom, and support in all decisions we make. We challenge ourselves to engage in meaningful discussions and to give our best always. We're thankful for the services provided by our first responders and ask for continued safety for all. And this Memorial Day weekend, we pay tribute and honor to the men and women who courageously served our country. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two very positive special presentations this evening. And the first one involves downtown bus loop. And I believe Dan Bates and some of his friends from the BCRTA are here to explain what this bus loop is about and how it's going to help us and help Hamilton and help BCRTA.
Good evening. Thank you so much for making time for us to speak to you briefly this evening. I'm excited. There's such a great crowd. My name is Matt Detkovitz. I'm the Executive Director with the Butler County Regional Transit Authority. Wanted to come to you today to tell you a little bit about a partnership with the Hamilton Chamber. Dan's been very generous with his time and the Chamber's efforts. We are celebrating BCRTA's 30th anniversary this summer. Been around for 30 years. One of the things that we're planning to do to help celebrate that is what we're calling a Summer of Celebration Shuttle. We are partnering with Chamber members, small businesses in the Hamilton area to provide a circulator service on Fridays and Saturdays between June 21st and August 24th to help people get around a little easier and patronize some of those establishments. We'll be serving the High Street corridor as well as Main Street or across the Black Street Bridge. There's a whole bunch of businesses that are participating. We're trying to support them with a little bit of advertising. They're going to trade off and let people know about what's going on. It should be super fun. There's a lot of special named products, drinks, specials coming from a lot of those restaurants and stores, which we're really looking forward to. We think it's going to be a great partnership. We hope people come out to support the business community, ride the bus, learn a little bit about BCRTA and what we're doing. Like I said, it's June 21st it starts. That's our kickoff, and it'll run through Hamapalooza. August 24th, we're going to be running on Friday nights from 5 p.m. until midnight, and we'll be running on Saturdays from noon until 12 a.m. as well. So we're really looking forward to it. It's a short little pilot program that we're going to be watching and doing a lot of celebrating with the anniversary and the small businesses. So happy to answer any questions if you have anything. I have some fresh handouts right off the press. So fresh, the QR code on them is not functional yet. But I'm happy to share that with council, and there'll be lots of information on social media and our website in the coming weeks.
Well, wait. Maybe you can. I'm sure it's a great question. Let's see if I can guess what your question is. See if he answers it. First off, thank you for this investment. I think all of council appreciates this. I hope it's going to be a great success, and I think that pilot program is going to just totally take off. How do these folks out in the audience find out more about that?
Yeah, sure. You can go to www.butlercountyrta.com. As I mentioned, it's not quite live yet, but if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, I promise you will be bombarded with information about it. There will be a website or a page on our website that will have all of the information about participating businesses, what they're offering. We'll have the shuttle times, which you can track in the Transit app, which you can download from the App Store or on our web app, buzztracker.com. We'll have the shuttle times on the website as well, but there'll be all kinds of information online. Probably not this week, maybe in about a week or two, but follow us on Facebook. I guarantee you'll get it.
Did I answer your question, I hope?
Does the bus run on the weekends?
That will run on Fridays and Saturdays. So Friday from 5 p.m. until midnight, and then Saturday from noon to midnight.
That's not my question. Does the bus run on the weekends generally?
Some of them do, not all of them. I'll give you a card.
Well, none of them do.
Well, he'll get you a card, sir, okay? He'll get you a card.
Then I had another question also.
Well, if I let 80 people or 100 people start asking questions, I'm going to lose control here, okay? You can talk to me after the meeting, and I'll get you the answer. Okay, I'm not.
I've actually wrote you and you didn't respond to me.
I apologize for that. Maybe I don't even remember that.
Okay, maybe
Okay?
you don't.
And I do apologize for that, okay?
Obviously you don't.
I'm sorry. You can talk to me afterwards, and we'll clear up everything. All right, Mr. Pullman, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So the cost of it, did I miss that? The cost?
I'm sorry, it's free. I didn't mention the cost because there is no cost.
The advertisers are what's helping pay for the free ride, right?
BCRTA is paying for this out of our budget as a pilot program.
Okay.
So we didn't ask businesses to advertise or anything. We're here to be as a support mechanism. BCRTA's mission is to support economic development through public transit solutions. So that is what we are aiming to do. It's a little bit of marketing for us too, so.
Good for you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
and we'll remind the audience that this is a council conversation, and if you have questions, you can certainly not talk to these nice people afterward. Will there be a schedule of routes as far as stops along the pathways and things?
Yes, absolutely. There'll be cards at all the local businesses who are participating that you'll be able to pick up. That'll have a picture of the map along with all of the stops. That'll also be available on the website as well. And like I said, we have a real-time tracking app so you can actually see where the bus is. Transit app has it, or it'll be on our website. There'll be a link to get there as well. So there should be lots of information.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes.
Well, no. From council. I mean, there's, sir,
It's related to exactly what he's talking about.
well, sir, I can't let the audience ask questions right now because we're in what's called special presentations, and it's not open to everybody to ask them questions. It's for us to ask questions, for all of us to learn. And as I said, I will get you, I'm going to give you my card. I'm going to set up a telephone call with you,
Here to
sir.
help the community. I thought we were here to help the community, right?
And we all are, but
What's the big deal?
We have a process and procedures.
you wait a minute.
Okay? So
You wait a minute. I will talk to you directly after this meeting.
I wrote the mayor.
I don't know, I'm not going to admit or deny that because I don't even know, you and I will talk. We're not going to argue about this right now, sir. I will talk to you afterwards. I promise you I will. I promise you I will. Right after this meeting adjourns, I will talk to you. Mr. Bates, did you want to say anything at all?
There's more, okay? Dan Bates, President and CEO of Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce. We are thrilled with this partnership. Not only is the transportation free, it'll be well publicized. It'll also be on the Explore Hamilton app. BCRTA routes are already on the Explore Hamilton app, so if you have any questions, you could check with the app too. This will be on there. Businesses will be selling T-shirts and things with BCRTA logo on them. And the exciting thing is the businesses are going to be tracking their business during these runs to see how it increases their business. And obviously we'll be using that in the future for advocacy for more public transportation. But the exciting thing is on top of all this and the free transportation, we are going to be doing weekly drawings. So people that ride the free bus around the loop will get their card punched or something. We have to work all this out. But I think we're going to do a card punch, which you'll get when you get on the bus. And you have to get that punch so many times within the week, and then you'll be entered into free drawings for gift cards and experiences and stuff around downtown Hamilton. The day of Hamilpalooza, there will be multiple drawings that day. And if somebody rides the bus at least 3 or 4 times that day, they'll be entered to win prizes as well. So we really are encouraging people to get on the bus and see what it's like to experience easy public transportation, especially for free. This will also allow the business community to utilize all the bricks and mortar businesses with Hamilpalooza, so it won't be just the vendors around Markham Park. It will also be all the bricks and mortar businesses will be participating in Hamilpalooza this year. So that's it.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank
I couldn't
you.
be more excited. So
Thanks.
thank you.
so much.
Okay, our next special presentation has to do with some of our students and adults from our city who have been nominated and named Heroes of Character. And we're going to do all Linden Wall students first. If you're associated with Linden Elementary School or won a character award, come on up here if you would, please. All right.
And of course, Steve Lippert to come up here. And of course, the principal to come up. I got to get my notes. All righty. You're a future mayor. I'll tell you that right now. You dress better than I do. Probably got better grades than I've got. Okay. Great. All right. Before Steve Lippert talks, back when our city schools became schools of character, national schools of character, we figured why not the city of Hamilton become a city of character? So we did that, and that was done with the leadership of, sorry about that, I thought I was talking loud enough. With the leadership of Dave Ballou, Paul Toms, and others. And we were lucky enough to get Steve Lippert to take a huge leadership role in this. And behind the scenes, what the character committee has done in Hamilton, we've had recognition awards, we've had character carnivals, and all kinds of just really, really good events. And Steve Lippert has taken this on, and he is doing excellent. So I'm going to have him talk a little bit about our city of character, which our city of character is great. But also then we're going to start talking about these students here, this safety and security monitor, this vice principal, as well as Principal Hazelwood, and they're all from Linden. Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dave Ballou asked me to join this committee. I didn't know anything about probably 15 years ago, and now I've been on it that long, and I'm chairman of it. And we're little known, but I have to give the mayor credit for starting this committee, and he's doing. It's great work because we get to celebrate good character, and everybody knows this country and this community needs good character and needs more good character. And so we've done these character carnivals, which is a Saturday morning at a elementary school in Hamilton, and we have fun with games that all promote good character qualities. So. And then we also participate with these Heroes of Character banquets with the Cincinnati Character Council. And so some of the people in front of you have been recognized for their character in the schools and as adults at their workplace. So we're really excited. We love celebrating great stories, and we have a bunch of good stories here, and there's more out there that will be coming up here shortly. So anyway, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Okay. I think that's my list of folks from Linden. Okay. Kason, did I pronounce your name right? Kason Baldwin. He got a character award for his winning attitude. Among other things, he displays an attitude of hard work, never giving up, whether in the classroom or the football field. He also chooses the correct path, has a high level of integrity. He's loyal to himself and friends, and he chooses the correct path to follow even when it's challenging. So because of that, he got a character award. And I shouldn't be doing all the talking. Why don't you just...
You're doing a fine job, sir.
Real loud. Okay, tell me what up. Hey,
Kaysen is a wonderful 4th grade student at Linden Elementary. He'll be a 5th grader after tomorrow. He always wears a smile on his face, and it is contagious. He's a great student, a great friend to all, and we are so blessed to have him with us at Linden Elementary. And next to Kaysen, we have Miss Bailey Zellner, also a 4th grader at Linden. And she also is just a wonderful breath of sunshine at Linden. She works hard. She is a friend to all. I can't say enough about our Linden Miss Bailey. And then, do the adults too? Oh. Mr. Hudson, which if you were at the dinner, I think he stole the show. He did it was wonderful. Mr. Hudson is one of our preschool students, and he's from Miss Harrison's preschool class. She's here tonight with Miss Katie to support, but he is he also is a friend to all. He comes ready to learn. He is all business at school, but he likes to have fun too. So we are so blessed to have him with us at Linden as well. And we have one more student who's not here this evening. That's Felia Benison. She is a 5th grader, soon to be 6th grader, but also a wonderful student leader at Linden.
Okay, Kaysen and all of you are going to be getting a certificate. We're going to get you yours here shortly. City of Hamilton, Ohio is certified that Kaysen Baldwin is hereby awarded this certificate of recognition for representing Linden Elementary and being named a student hero at the 2024 Heroes of Character Dinner, and by enriching the spirit of his community by promoting and encouraging good character. Some of myself as mayor and acknowledged by all members of council. So I'm going to give you yours, Kaysen, okay? Whoops, it's fighting me back. There you go. Are your parents here, Kaysen? You want them to stand up? Why don't they stand up? Felia, can you make sure Felia gets this? Thank you. For the record, Felia is going to be in the 6th grade. She demonstrates the qualities that comprise the Linden roar. She respects others, owns her own actions, acts safely, and rises to the challenge. She demonstrates compassion towards others at school. She always has a smile on her face, and she collaborates very well with others. So that is Felia. And you got to understand, there was a huge banquet down in Cincinnati, and he had a suit on too then. And everybody, they were called up in front of like 300 and some people, and they demonstrated, good character when they got called up. And it was just it was such a great event. I said, we got to bring this to Hamilton. So, all right, Hudson, you're next. You want a certificate? He wants a certificate. You're getting this because of the good character you have demonstrated at school. And I want to read a little bit about you, if I can, here. Okay. He cares about all of his peers and includes everyone, jumping right in to accept anyone who wants to be in his work or play group. He even cleans up messes he didn't even make. So that's pretty good. And here's just an example of a little bit about what Hudson has done. His dad was waiting for him in the morning preschool class to let out. Hudson's walking to the car to where his dad, is his dad here? The guy at the camera, okay. So you were waiting for him, I guess, and he's walking towards the car, and he realizes that nobody's holding the door open for other teachers, for other students. So he doesn't go towards the car anymore. He goes to the door at school, opens the door for everybody in the school to go into the school. I mean, you're going to get votes for that. You know that, don't you? You're going to be very, very popular. But Hudson has, as a preschooler, shows to do the right thing. So Hudson, thank you very much. Okay? You talked about Hudson already, didn't you? And Bailey both?
Yeah, sorry, I just looked down the line.
Okay. Bailey Zellner. You're going to be in the 5th grade, is that right? Okay. She receives an ultimate compliment from her 4th grade teacher who says, Bailey makes us all laugh, and our lives are a little brighter because she is in it. She's described as being enthusiastic and kind-hearted. She treats everyone, fellow students and teachers, with respect. In the classroom, she strives to ensure everyone is included during group work. I mean, that's a leader. That is a leader. She greets everyone in the morning and works extremely hard at every task given to her. Bailey cares about her friends and looks out for her sisters.
She puts her best foot forward daily and isn't hesitant to ask questions when she doesn't understand something. Bailey is described as a positive light who shows up for herself and others. Are your parents here? Bailey's parents here? Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you. And we're going to get your certificate to you. We did not get that totally completed, but you're going to get a certificate just like theirs, okay? Thank you, Bailey, for being Bailey, okay? All right. The gentleman to my right of me was not at the dinner.
Was not, I was sick.
But you were nominated, and this is a certificate for you, and I'll read about you in just a second. You represent Linden Elementary as a safe and secure monitor and being named an adult honoree at the 2024 Heroes of Character Dinner because you also enrich the spirit of your community by promoting and encouraging good character. So this is given to you. And I don't think you talked about the adults in this.
I did not.
All right, let's talk about Tim Brown. And go ahead and mention your vice principal.
Okay. So Mr. Brown joined us last year in our new position that we have at every elementary school, Safe and Secure Monitor. And he came to us from Butler County JDC with the mission to reach the kids before they got to that point. He has been a breath of fresh air for our staff, for our students. He is all in for kids. So we're very blessed to have him with us at Linden Elementary. And Michelle Connerman is our wonderful assistant principal. I call her the GOAT all the time. She's the greatest. We could not do what we do at Linden without Michelle Connerman. She used to teach at Linden, then became an instructional coach in the district, and then came back last year as the assistant principal. And she has moved mountains with kids. I'm not going to cry, but she has. And so we sent off some sixth graders today that, whew, last year compared to this year, you know, she's just really is invested in our kids, growing them, growing our teachers to support our kids, and she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. She's a hero of mine. So we're proud of her as well. We're very blessed.
Both Tim Brown and Michelle got a special recognition for positive influence on young people. He mentors students and provides a safe atmosphere. And Michelle, you celebrate the little things that are important to students. You started a safety committee, amongst other things. You're a third grade teacher and literacy coach, and you also reflect great character, integrity, and a positive outlook. So, how about a round of applause again for all these folks from Linden Elementary? I'll get you yours, okay? Thank you. All right, my friend.
No.
Vote for Hudson. Okay. Now, you can all go sit down. We got a few more people to recognize from that night, just about 3 more. And can you give that to Michelle?
Yeah, get that presence.
All right, if we can next have up here, Colton, I think you were up here before, weren't you? Come on up here, Colton. And Jasper Roberts. Is Jasper here? Good. All right, man. You came up here twice. And Logan Pickett. All right. Is anybody else here from the City of Character or from the Character Awards? I think I got everybody who's here. Okay. We'll start off with Colton. What school you go to? Bridgeport. Okay. And you're going to what grade next year? 7th. Figure, man. So you're leaving elementary school, right? Yeah. All right. You'll do well. I got to find out my notes about you. There it is. All right, Colton. You're known for displaying qualities such as patience, generosity, resilience, honesty, and respect. When dealing with complex problems or navigating relationships, your patience allows you to think clearly and make better decisions. He gives his time and support without expecting anything in return, uplifting those in need, inspiring others to embrace the spirit of giving. As well, he values truth and integrity, and he's living his life with transparency and sincerity. So, you're going to carry all those into your next school, right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, just say a few words for you.
Well, I am not excited to go to middle school because I'm scared. I'm scared of everything. But I'm going to keep on doing the way I am so I can make it through. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Don't you really like that attitude? I know I sure do. Okay. Let's go to Jasper Roberts. Okay. Just 1 second here. There. Okay. Jasper, you're in the 11th grade, I guess. You're going to be a junior at Hamilton High School. And there's so many quotes about her in here. You've been described as a student you can count on to work with any other student in the classroom because you accept everyone. She has welcomed new students with Build-A-Bears and signs that say that you matter. There's some immigrant students, I believe. You have volunteered for over 100 hours a year for the last 3 years, and she earned her the Presidential Medal of Service. She also serves on the executive board of the Corn Stand Jam Festival. So I know somebody's here from Corn Stand, Jim Nugent. I mean, yeah. You know that guy, don't you, out there? Okay. So thank you for all your volunteering, and I'm sure there's a list of places you could give to us, but she works for that festival, which is very important for suicide prevention and raising the awareness of mental health. And so you're doing adult things, volunteering for things that I wish more adults did. And you're doing it right now. And you got that presidential award. So because of that, you get this certificate of recognition, but also, I'm sure, a great round of applause about what Jasper's doing. He claps pretty good too. Now let me ask you this. Your parents are here, right?
Yeah.
They stand up, please.
Already on.
They're in the back. You got a good sense of humor too, man, I tell you. Jasper, are your parents here? Yes. Okay, will they please stand up? There you go. Okay. All right. Logan Pickett. Okay. You're getting a certificate as well because you've done some great things volunteering, some very creative things that you saw that needed to be done and then did it. So here's your certificate. I'm going to read about you right now, okay? You're going to be a mayor too, I think. Okay.
I did say I would take your job a couple years ago.
You know what?
Last time I got a proclamation from you.
Oh, that's right, I did. You may as well go up here right now. But no, you're not old enough yet, I guess, man. You're not old enough yet to go up around. I read all about you. I just had to find it in here. And it's pretty impressive, too. I'll tell you that right now. Just learn to hold the microphone now, would you? Okay? You're in here. I know you're in here. You know you're in here, don't you? You just pointed at me. Would you find yourself in that book for me? I'm sorry. I mean, I did that in the last 5 minutes, but put this together a little bit. But you're in there, Logan. I know you're in there. See, I turned the page up. All right. Logan, you're graduating from high school.
Yep.
All right.
Welding tech in September.
What you gonna take?
Welding.
Man, he's gonna make $100,000 when he gets right out of school. Then he can run for council and then governor and all that. Here's what Logan has done. First off, he has donated toiletry boxes for tornado victims, blankets for hurricane victims, and Christmas gifts to the less fortunate. He's involved with the Hamilton Dream Center, which we all know is just a great place here in the city of Hamilton. He's done 12 years of donating Christmas gifts to children. I'm going to read this so I don't screw this up. He wanted every child at the Dream Center to have a Christmas gift, so he started raising money by doing odd jobs, having yard sales, and making and selling crafts. He even asked that his Christmas gifts be donated to the children rather than to himself. Last year was his 12th year, which means you started that when you were very young. Over the years, he's raised over $25,000 to purchase gifts, which he wraps and helps hand out to the children. Logan also helps with activities at Woodlands of Hamilton, an assisted living community where his grandfather lived. So Logan, thank you very much for your leadership, for your volunteer hours. Your parents are here too, aren't they? Father's here? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, obviously, these young people all have great parents, great principals, and great teachers. How about a round of applause for not just them and the other Linden students who are here, but for the parents and the teachers and the relatives who have made these very honorable folks worthy of being recognized by a tri-state area for being a hero of character.
Well, it's always exciting. We love celebrating great character, and so you might wonder how these folks ever got nominated, and we do the nominations. It'll start in probably October for next year's Heroes of Character, and there's adult and student nominations. So be on the lookout for that when October comes along. And if you're interested in serving on our committee, we're also very happy to have you join our committee. So thank you and congratulations to all of our heroes of character.
And you're a leader of character. I did want to mention the name of one more Hamiltonian who was recognized, a guy named Jonathan Frost. Some of you may know him. He's a director of activities at Berkeley, and he's also a great guy, and he was there at that dinner that evening as well. So thank you all for being great heroes of character.
And that brings us to audience of citizens. And I'll talk real slow about audience of citizens. Okay, individuals who wish to speak may make comments during this part of the agenda, or may reserve the right to speak specifically when the item is up for a vote on the council floor. All individuals who intend to address City Council are required to sign in at the table in the back of the room. Each speaker is allowed up to 5 minutes. And we do have several people, and I'm going to try to combine these and maybe transfer some of these to the public hearing. Now, there's a public hearing tonight on short-term rentals. Many of you signed the Audience of Citizens book. I'm just going to ask you generally, is it okay if we move you to the public hearing that is specifically for short-term rentals? Is that okay with all of you? Okay. So I'm just going to, so if you're here for short-term rentals and you signed the blue book, we'll call you up during that public hearing. And that leaves, I think, only Michael Bison. Is Michael Bison here? He signed the book to talk about, I think, vacant businesses. Really? Okay. That's fine. That will take care of it.
I think she was taking care of it.
Okay, so if he comes back in, can somebody give me the high sign, and we'll let him talk then. That's okay, because he did sign the book. He did what he was supposed to do. So that actually does take care of our audience of citizens.
I signed the book. Yeah, I did too.
Okay, maybe it's the other book that was signed. Hold on a second. Well, I've got two more short-term rentals who signed the book, and Fair Flag, who's here for the, well, do you want to speak at the audience of citizens?
No.
Are you sure about that?
I realized I didn't need to sign
Okay, all right.
that. Sorry. Already confused.
I thought I did see your name on here, Jim.
It's in the black binder.
Black binder.
Up on me. Okay, Jim Loneman.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilman.
This book.
Yeah, a question for you. This actually goes to head of the police department. Who is that? Who's the head of the police department here?
Well, Jim, I tell you what, I think City Manager Bukai just went out to talk. He might be able to answer, I know he can answer your question, but let's just see if it's appropriate to go into at this particular audience of citizens, okay? Do you have a question about public safety, Jim?
Yes, well, okay, I go to like the Barney's Bar and ours, and they park in front of the sign that says, no parking here in the corner, many times like that. And I've seen police go by the cars and don't do a damn thing about it. Why?
Those officers maybe have to hit a more high priority type
I'm
of
saying,
thing.
every time.
Well, you put us on notice that there are cars parked in front of the no parking areas. And I notice it too, because it makes it difficult to make sometimes right-hand turns at those particular intersections. So I understand what you're talking about.
You can't see the cars coming either.
But I think if everybody had good character and parked within the lines, so to speak, it'd be a lot better. And I'm sure that the police are keeping an eye on that situation. But sometimes they do have to take a higher priority situation. I mean, I don't think I'm speaking out of school. Am I, Mr. City Manager?
No, that's correct, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Loneman, I've taken a note here. I'll make sure that we follow up on that. Thank you for pointing it out.
Repeat that, please.
Okay.
I have a question for you. Okay, we see the cars, police go by there all the time, without doing anything, That's pretty bad, isn't it? Especially when they pull me over for one night, well, back last spring, or late winter, I was pulled over for turning right on a one-way street. I was the wrong way on one-way street. I admit I was wrong. The cop wouldn't even listen to me. It wouldn't listen to me at all. I mean, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Huh?
Well, Jim, sometimes instead of asking questions, just making a comment is sufficient to draw our attention.
And also, one time we got pulled over back last spring or summer by a lady cop, and I told her the situation, because the car printed one of the brake lights out, and we told the guy about it, if he didn't know about it. And she pulled me over for going a little faster on the road, and I told her my sister, she listened to me, and she was real nice about it. She let me out.
See,
that's pretty
there's
nice.
discretion sometimes. So you brought to our attention some issues like you usually do. And I'm just going to say thank you, Jim, for being here with us and bringing up some issues that you are concerned about. Okay?
I'm concerned about it.
Yep.
I'm on the police side, I'm not on him, but one place he acted like he wouldn't listen to me. No, that's pretty bad. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. Sam Sanders?
Yeah, can I comment on what he was talking about?
Well, sir, first off, I'm going to talk to you after the meeting. Now, wait a minute. No. Okay. I'm going to comment, and I let you comment, so I'm going to comment. Usually, almost every daggone time I've been a mayor for 16 years, you got to sign the blue public speaking book to create a record. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We create a record. We keep these sheets, and we put on our record who spoke, who signed the book, and who spoke. And that's the way we do things. Now, what I'll do is, I told you after the meeting, I will talk to you. I've got my card here. We're going to set up an appointment. We're going to sit down and talk. But we're not going to do that right now because I can't change the rules because it's going to turn into some semi-chaotic situation if I let people raise their hand and want to come up to the podium. Okay? And that's it.
I still want to talk on the issue I signed the book for.
What? Okay, what?
Cannabis issue.
Okay. Well, okay, this is the cannabis book, but people sign in different books, and I understand it. It is confusing. If you're not Sam, I know you're not Jim Loneman. Okay? Okay, now let's see.
Sam.
What is your name, sir?
Samuel Sanders.
Yes, Sam.
Sam, you signed the right book, okay? Now what you're going to do is you're going to wait till there's a public hearing, and then you can come up and talk, okay, about that issue.
I know that, but I'm just saying not everything y'all are talking about I can relate to.
Well,
I've got firsthand experience with, dealt with.
Well, I'm going to ask you to come up and speak about the cannabis issue when that public hearing takes place.
Gotcha.
I will talk to you after the meeting. We'll set up a time when we'll sit down and talk in this very room, but not during this meeting right now.
I sent you an email a couple months ago.
I don't know. I mean, Sam, I'll look it up. But let's just continue with the meeting, okay? Thank you. All right. I think that takes care of audience of citizens. If anybody else think they signed the book, tell me. I'll apologize and look up in here because we got short-term rentals and we got the cannabis public hearings, and we're going to have you folks speak, those who signed the book, whichever book, on those two issues. Okay? So I think that takes care of audience of citizens. And that'll bring us now to the consent agenda, if I'm not mistaken. That includes all staff reports, all caucus reports, law enforcement trust funds, Hampton Municipal Court annual report, which, and these are all interesting reports to read, our April financial report, and our April 2024 report. Now, we're going to go to the committee of the whole, and allow City Council to ask questions, provide directions, comment on various topics. And we're going to, before we do that, we are going to, I'm going to accept the motion that the regular meeting be recessed, and that committee of the whole takes place to allow council to listen and have council ask questions to those presenting on these issues.
So moved.
Okay. Motion made by Council Member Nab, second by Vice Mayor Pullman. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion is carried. That is at 6:45. We now go to the committee of the whole. Who is presenting?
Our first item will be presented by our Director of Engineering, Mr. Rich Engel.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens of Hamilton. Every 5 years, the Butler County Solid Waste District updates their management plan. And for tonight's presentation, I've asked the Director of the Solid Waste District, Ms. Ann Fearfly, to come and do the presentation so that you can ask her any questions directly and she would have the answers. So, Ann?
For record, and we did receive this, I think, 6-page or so handout. It was very good. The graphs and displays were very good. So we do have that. So please tell us.
There's the.
Okay, thank you. Ann Fearflag, Director of Butler County Solid Waste District. Thank you for making time on the agenda tonight. I was very moved by those students that we recognized here. Very touching. I hear so many good things about Hamilton, and I think seeing those young people is just an affirmation that things are moving in a really excellent direction here. The reason I'm here tonight is to present to you a solid waste management plan update. Every county in the state of Ohio has a solid waste management plan. We are required to do so by Ohio Revised Code. I am regulated by Ohio EPA and report to the Butler County Commissioners. So we have a fair amount of oversight, as well as being required to maintain compliance with regulatory body, Ohio EPA. And I presented to you in my first slide a timeline that the Solid Waste Policy Committee has been observing since early January of 2023. And we've been working on updating the solid waste plan. We have a policy committee made up of 7 members. There is a member from the city of Hamilton. We have Louise Jewett, who serves on our policy committee. She's a retired teacher from the city of Hamilton schools. And we also have Ben Mann from the city of Fairfield. He is the public works director. He also represents the interests of municipalities. We also have, together with township representatives, an industrial representative who you may know, Matt Fearman. He comes from Matandy. So I feel that we have the interests of the public, the manufacturing sector, as well as citizens serving on the policy committee that oversee this policy development, this plan development. I am here today to let you know that we are in the ratification period. I'm seeking your vote by resolution to approve this plan. There are several people on this body that I have not met before that may not be familiar with solid waste planning in Ohio, but I wanted to assure you that the plan has passed. I've been in this role for over 15 years, and our plan has always attained a 95 to 99% ratification rate. So the city of Hamilton actually has veto power as the largest municipality in our solid waste district in the county. So I do very much rely on your vote and approval of this plan. And that's part of the reason why when Rich asked me if I'd like to be here today, I said, absolutely. So just want to go through a few essential items that are found in this plan. We do a complete inventory of all of the solid waste resources where waste is transported and hauled and deposited that is generated in Butler County. So I gave you a snapshot here of where the waste is deposited. About 67% of all the waste in Butler County is sent to Rumpke Sanitary Landfill in Coleraine Township. The remainder goes to Indiana and Kentucky, but we are we derive our fee and our funding from waste that is deposited in the state of Ohio. So it's a great thing to have a partner like Rumpke and a resource like Rumpke Sanitary Landfill, which a lot of businesses and residents rely on. And one of the things we have to do in this 15-year plan is a forecast that we have sufficient landfill capacity for the next 15 years and beyond. And this plan, we were able to demonstrate that we have 37 years of capacity at Rumpke Sanitary Landfill as of this time. So that's a great metric. It's a good number. But we still want people to recycle more. We also provide in this plan a snapshot of all the recycling community drop boxes that are available to the public at no charge. And we also capture data for all the curbside recycling programs that exist in Butler County. And as you know, you do combination service. You have a contract for your residents that guarantees that every household here has curbside recycling, which, as you can see, based on the yield of tons that we generate from curbside recycling, is significantly higher than if we rely on folks to transport their recycling in their car. Whatever is convenient is what people will do. So we are working right now with Westchester Township to contract for combination service for every household in their community. And we are also working with Liberty Township because, as you know, these are like cities, these townships. They are mega townships. So that's part of the agenda for this solid waste plan, is to move the bar on the service model. And we are actively engaged in that process right now. We have what you call an access plan, which means that our plan must demonstrate that at least 80% of the population in Butler County has access to recycling opportunities. So we are able to demonstrate that in the plan. I'm not going to get into the weeds here with you. Just know that we are in compliance and we're moving the needle on this. I also wanted to provide you a snapshot of the types of yield of recycling that you get in the city of Hamilton. These numbers tend not to fluctuate wildly from year to year. They tend to plateau. We did see a significant uptick during the pandemic, which you know is very predictable with people consuming more things at home. They were more carry-in, more carry-out food, and then just people living and working in their homes, going to school at home. So we knew that this number would be higher. As you can see, it started to more closely resemble the 2019 numbers over the last 2 years, which we expected to see. Same thing for the recycling rate. It did not budge a lot during the pandemic because people were also throwing away a lot more trash at home. So that compensated for the uptick in the yield of recycling tonnages. We also saw a significant increase in the yield of trash. So these numbers, as I said, tend to be fairly even. I also outlined several strategies that we have, both short-term and longer-term strategies in the plan to increase diversion. I did not want to go through line by line each of these items. I did provide you with all of this detail in the summary report that I gave you, as well as you have access to the full document in your packet that we issued several weeks back. The district is in excellent financial shape. We have seen steady revenues from our solid waste generation fee, which is $1 per ton, which translates to about $1.36 per household per year. We are the second lowest funded. Our solid waste fund is the second lowest among solid waste districts that have a solid waste generation fee in the state of Ohio. And I'm sure you know our county commissioners love that we keep our fee low, we keep our costs low, and we are very cost conscious with everything that we do. Our budget is approved annually by the county commissioners and reviewed by them. What else do I have on here? We do have to project our fees and our income across the 15 years in the plan. And we do have a tentative fee increase in 2031, but we will revisit that before the next plan update is issued. So you are not approving any fee change. The fees will remain the same. And they have been at $1 per ton. I know that they were $1 per ton even in the 1990s. So this is a very, very cost-effective and cost-conscious funding mechanism that we have as a solid waste district. I am seeking your approval of the plan update. We have until July 8th on the ratification timeline that we've established, which is a 90-day timeline. So I appreciate your consideration of this plan, and I imagine many of you are familiar with some of the services that we provide for hard-to-dispose materials like hazardous waste, electronics, waste tires. We also recently partnered with the city on a tire amnesty event in for the Southeast Civic Association. It was a cleanup that took place in October at the same time that we were conducting our tire event at the county fairgrounds, and we underwrote the cost for the tire recycling that was taking place in the city limits because we thought that was the right thing to do. And also we just thought it was a good coordination not to have all those people directed out to the fairgrounds because we have hundreds and hundreds of people that we see that day. So we are always looking for ways to collaborate, ways to collaborate with all of the jurisdictions in Butler County. Jim Williams has been the policy committee chair on our solid waste policy committee. As you know, he has moved to the county. He is my new boss. But I feel that we have a very good relationship with Public Works in the city, and I really value the partnerships with the individuals that I've worked with over the years. And Rich Engel also served on our policy committee for many years. Let me know if you have any questions.
Sir, questions don't come from the audience at this stage, okay? We can talk about that. We'll set up an appointment. Okay, understand.
I'd be happy to talk with you after the meeting as well, if you have some specific questions.
Yeah.
Just not in this forum, I don't believe, at this setting.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just make one comment, Ann. So recently, I was made aware of the new process with the orange bags for recycling, and I think it's a great idea. So it's like the wrappers off of packaged meats and things that you can now recycle.
Yes.
So that's a great idea. I'm
Yeah.
glad we're doing that because it was garbage before, now it's recyclable.
I appreciate your bringing that up, Councilwoman Vaughn. I think that Rumpke is an excellent promoter and leader in the recycling arena. I know they are seeking markets for hard-to-dispose materials, and I got to be part of that launch of that program with the Hefty Bag. And I think it really is for the people who are super motivated, who have kind of reached their peak of, I've done everything I can. What do I do with all these other difficult-to-dispose materials like styrofoam and plastic straws, which were kind of the trending item about 3 or 4 years ago. But they really have created a program where you can toss this bag into your recycling bin with all of these unusual plastics that are not available to be recycled in any other manner. So I encourage folks to sign up for the Hefty Starter Kit. It's free. You can find it on our website. You can find it on the Rumpke website. And you can get a free starter kit that outlines all of the items that are accepted in that program so that you can be a really informed recycler in how to use that service. Thank you for bringing that up.
Sure, thank you. I'm surprised how quickly it fills up. So that's
Apparently they ran out of bags at the Kroger and the Meijer in the first month that the program was launched, but I think they've restocked. And you can also order your bags, I understand, from Amazon.
Yes.
The Hefty Bag. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make a PDF of this presentation and forward it to you in the morning so you have the snapshot of what she was talking about tonight.
Then next up for items 2 and 3, we'll have a presentation from our Director of Community Services, Ms. Liz Hayden.
Good evening, City Council and residents of Hamilton. Two staff proposed items that are coming to you for your review tonight from Planning Commission. The first is an update of our residential design standards, which is a chapter in our zoning ordinance. And this is a project that we've been working on for almost 2 years, and it's a major update to our zoning code. And the background is that I think our current standards, frankly, are kind of confusing and hard to read, and they needed to be modernized. Right now, the residential design standards kind of read assuming that they only apply to like a new residential subdivision, but they also apply to something like the Markham Apartments and the Rossville Flats and the PLK development behind Meyer, and it just doesn't account for how different those kinds of developments are. So that's one of the main things. We're modernizing, we're taking into consideration all different kinds of development, and then also really trying to make sure that what's getting built in our community stands the test of time and is built with high quality materials. So this is just an example. Like I said, right now, I think a lot of our residential design standards read as if specifically for single family duplex or triplex, and doesn't take into consideration things like mixed use development, large scale apartments, suburban and urban, and all kinds of things in between. So now the proposal does try to consider all of those. And then I wanted to highlight some of, there's a lot, like I said, this is a major update, but I wanted to highlight the things that I thought would be the biggest change, the things that you would want to know. And one of them is that right now there is not a standard minimum amount of masonry materials for a new residential dwelling unit. And we are proposing to create that minimum, whether it's hardy plank, wood, brick, stone, whatever that might be, that there is a minimum amount that right now it can be, a new home could be 100% vinyl, and this proposes to change that. Another thing that's a big change is that it's proposing that all new single family and two family units should have a basement unless there is some unique reason that it would not be appropriate that the director of engineering would determine. And we've also introduced window requirements, not just, right now I think the window requirements are only for like a front facade facing a street, and we're saying we've also introduced some window requirements on the sides and rear as well. Like I said, this has been something we've been working on for 2 years. We've gone back and forth we've researched best practices from other communities, but especially taken into consideration lessons learned and things we've heard are important to Planning Commission and Council over the past few years. And so the Planning Commission has seen this a couple times, helped to create the final document that's coming to you for your review. And also we sent this out to developers and builders that have done projects in Hamilton in recent years, and also the Greater Cincinnati Home Builders Association. The feedback that we've gotten has been mixed. Some builders are not happy with the requirements of things like more brick and stone and wood, and others are very thrilled that we are making those requirements. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Any questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor?
Please.
Liz, over the years, you've brought us consolidations. You've brought us a more logical business way to approach the current legislation, the current ordinances that are in place. Thank you for making it easier on everybody. We know that not everyone is going to agree, as you just shared, with what we're trying to do in our city and for compliances and things. So, but to you and your team, thank you for doing all the things you're doing.
You're welcome. I mean, if I can't understand what it says, then they can't understand what it says. So trying to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah, correct, Mr. Knapp. That was a lot of work. There's a lot of yellow in that attachment because that's what work your department did. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Second set is a much more minor set of zoning ordinance text amendments. We're constantly finding things that need to be updated, tweaked, especially since we made that major overhaul, I think in 2020 or 2021 of the zoning ordinance. There's things that we've caught that need to be changed. And so we're making some changes to the fence regulations, most notably giving some more authority, more flexibility to the Architectural Design Review Board for historic properties, improving our land area setback and density standards. One is we keep getting variance requests for driveways, and we came up with a proposal to make it a more common sense process because of our neighborhoods are so different, so we needed something to be able to help people get their driveways, figured out without having to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I would say probably the most notable change that we're proposing is widening the situations that somebody may be able to use gravel instead of a paved surface. We've already made some changes in the residential part of the code. We've made some better clarifications in that section, and then also saying that it's allowed in some circumstances for non-residential uses as well. So the highlights for this are that it would permit gravel parking on commercial properties if it's in a rear yard, it's not visible from the street. For commercial use, it would be up to 2,000 square feet of a parking lot, and for industrial use, up to 5,000 square feet. And then you couldn't do a gravel parking lot on a vacant piece of property. It would have to be accessory to a business. Any questions on this one?
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, and that concludes our presentations.
Okay. I'll accept the motion that the committee of the whole be closed. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Ryan, seconded by Councilmember Fear. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. That motion is carried at 7:05. I'll accept the motion that the regular meeting be reconvened.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Councilmember Nab. Roll call vote on that motion, please.
Moeller?
Yes.
Pullman?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Fear?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Nab?
Yes.
Lauer?
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
We go back into the regular meeting at 7:06. I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Pullman.
Motion that with the exception of the items so noted, council receive the reports of the consent agenda and concur on the recommendations.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Pullman, second by Councilmember Fear. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. 7:06. We now go into the public hearing segment of the agenda. Now I set the motion that the regular meeting be recessed and the public hearing take place.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilmember Nab, seconded by Councilmember Vaughn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. That motion is carried. Okay, 7:06, and why don't you read the first public hearing into the record, if you would.
A public hearing regarding amending and supplementing the codified ordinances of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by amending Chapter 758 short-term rentals relative to the City of Hamilton short-term rental license program.
Okay. Before I have anybody come up to the podium, I just want to go ahead and say this is a first reading tonight. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. This is a first reading tonight of the short-term rental. There's no vote tonight on short-term rentals, but it's a public hearing. If I'm not mistaken, the actual vote will be probably on June 12th. Okay, so if you think there's going to be a vote tonight on this, there'll be no vote tonight. But you can, of course, come to the meeting on June the 12th, contact your councilman, what have you. So, now let's see how many people did sign the book. Okay. Marilyn, is there Marilyn here? Do not, please come up to the podium and give us your name and your address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City of Hamilton. My name is Marilyn Tunat. I live at number 2 East Persimmon Drive in the Hickory Woods HOA community. I'm here tonight as a representative to that. I'm the president of the HOA. We have petitioned several times or spoken several times to the Planning Commission regarding the issuance of short-term rental licenses to 5 investors that purchased homes, acting as though they were going to be current homeowners when in fact they were buying them for short-term rentals, which breaks the covenants, rules, and regulations of our HOA, which was established as an amendment in 2012. It's been filed with the recorder's office. It's readily available for everybody to read and see, and the builder was supposed to provide those documents to the people who were buying the properties. Realtors are well aware that all contracts of new homes has a clause on the front that it must be disclosed if a home is in fact part of an HOA, and be provided to that seller that documentation of the covenants, rules, and regulations. That did not take place. The City of Hamilton then gave licenses to those individual homeowners who did not live in this city and do not live in those homes. We were very upset as a community. We have a total with those 5 homes of 74 homes. The community was complete. It was done in 4 plots, and the builder complied for the most part with all the city planning commission rules for finishes on the fronts of the homes and things, keeping them in a nice order. We're basically a very quiet community. Nothing much happens. There's one way in, one way out, and suddenly we're having a plethora of people coming in and out with cars. We don't know who they are. It changes from day to day. Some were staying for a longer period of time than what was first. When I went to a meeting in the summer, I believe it'll be close to a year and a half ago, that they said that there would be no more than 7 days that anybody would stay. And we had people that were staying for months. They were itinerant workers that were then renting these homes. Through our lawyer, then we found out that the builder had sued us because we were complaining and saying this should not be taking place, and so we countersued. I want you to know that we did win in summary judgment on that 2 weeks ago. The owners are supposed to comply and sell those homes, we believe, within the next 45 days. However, we're concerned because there's always little loopholes in things. We want to make sure that it's understood that there was a survey that went out in January, February, that had 2 questions on it for the community people within Hickory Woods, and that was whether or not to allow continuation of giving licenses for those types of short-term rentals, or to not allow anymore, but grandfather in the 5 that were originally given those. I've asked repeatedly where was the 3rd choice on that survey, which is there should not be a renewal of that. We've had lots of issues. We've had safety complaints. We've had to call the police for domestic violence issues that have taken place within that. Our summary judgment has brought all that to bear. We hope that you understand the fact that Hickory Woods is an HOA. It's recognized by the Ohio Revised Code. Our CCRs do not break any Ohio law or any Hamilton rules or laws, and we would hope that you would abide by those HOA rules as we have had them filed with the Secretary of State of the State of Ohio and duly recorded here in Butler County. That's what I wanted to make sure that you understood, that we don't want those 5 to be in any way, shape, or form, for them to think that they could be grandfathered in some way, because the judgment has been made, and there will be, the documentation of that should be released within the next week. So tomorrow is the very last date that it goes back to the magistrate and then to the judge. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer that. This is not my typical role in things. I'm a retired kindergarten teacher, and I was just really pleased with all the young people that were here tonight. That was a marvelous thing to see, from the very littlest preschooler, which my grandson is right now, all the way up to a senior in high school. What a great thing. So I thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, any
Please.
questions?
Is your subdivision there off Eaton?
We're off Millville.
Off Millville?
Off Millville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you're going from town and you're heading west, if you go to McDonald's, you're too far.
Okay.
So we're fairly close.
Same side as McDonald's, but farther.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Councilmember Knapp.
Marilyn, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your very, very focused, comprehensive presentation to us tonight. You were very well prepared as a school teacher. So again, we appreciate you coming, sharing the concerns of you and your community. We have friends who live in your community. We have many friends in the audience tonight who have called us to share their concerns about their communities. So
Yes.
again, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for hearing me.
Okay. next with Sam Scott.
Sam Scott, 24 Wellington Court, Hamilton, Ohio. Thank you to council, city manager, all in attendance. Members of council, tonight I come to voice my concerns regarding the proposed banning of short-term rentals in Highland Park. As a carve-out, I believe that it's a materially different matter for the HOA associated with Hickory Woods for the purposes of my comments. I believe that the adoption of such a resolution infringes on the rights of private property owners within the city, diminishes homeowners' opportunity to obtain return on investment on their homes, limits future resale values of homes, makes it more difficult for out-of-town visitors to patronize local businesses, and sets a dangerous precedent moving forward for the city. I work remotely out of my home-based office for an electronics manufacturer out of California. Like many remote workers, my occupation requires me to frequently travel to client sites, meetings, and production warehouses. Additionally, like many remote workers, I enjoy the flexibility when not traveling to perform my job functions wherever I see fit. As such, whether it be extended work trips or an abbreviated migration south for a few weeks during the cold months, my property, where I live at alone, is at times left empty. I don't see why, during these times, I should be prohibited from renting my property out on a short-term basis. Further, I believe that many of the concerns expressed by members of the community regarding short-term rentals already have coverage via existing city ordinances. For issues such as parking, noise violations, nuisance gatherings, lawn and exterior maintenance, and so on. The process is no different than if I, as a homeowner, had an excessively large gathering, unkempt lawn, or overly loud party. My understanding is also that for addresses that have pervasive issues in these areas and others, the city has an existing process for declaring addresses nuisance properties. I'm 26 years old. I'm in what I consider the peak of wedding attendance in my career. I go to a lot of bachelor parties. I patronize a lot of Airbnbs and VRBOs. I'll be in one next month. I was in one last month. I'm concerned that the city has acknowledged a need for short-term housing with the development of Spooky Nook, Hanover Reserve, Pyramid Hill Sculpture Park, so on and so forth. The city is seeing expanded need for short-term housing. I fear that prohibiting this on a basis starting in Highland Park sets a dangerous precedent of pushing those out-of-town visitors out of town. And as an Airbnb and VRBO guest myself, once I leave town and once I'm near my Airbnb, I'm gonna patronize the local pizzeria near my Airbnb. I'm gonna patronize the businesses near where I'm staying. I'm not gonna come back to Hamilton. And I would expect the same is gonna be true for future short-term renters in the city. In closing, I believe that the most concerning aspect of this proposition is the precedent that it sets for the city moving forward. A precedent that if a certain contingent of your neighborhood wishes to limit how private citizens use their property, the city will not only allow it, but facilitate it. In closing, I would like to leave members of council with one question. What is the next privilege the city will take away from private property owners? Prohibiting swimming pools? Prohibiting certain dog breeds from living in certain neighborhoods? Please consider the dangerous precedent this sets for the city moving forward, not only in the short term, but in the long term. Open to any questions or comments.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Joe Nagel.
Thank you for allowing this time. My name is Joe Nagel. I'm a resident of Highland Park since 1988. I want to commend Liz Hayden and her team for the efficient and effective way that they've processed the data that they've gleaned through surveys and shared it in a transparent way with all of us concerned about short-term rentals generally. It's been wonderful. What is it about Highland Park that makes it so special? Why do its residents set themselves apart from their fellow citizens living in the other 16 neighborhoods? Why do they seek what others have not? The answer, I think, lies in our history. I refer specifically to the vision of the neighborhood's founders who just over 100 years ago encouraged others through word of mouth and through newspapers to come together to establish a residential oasis, a retreat from the stress of everyday challenges, a haven where neighbors come to know each other, maintain a high standard of property care, and raise their families with the assurance that others share their values. And so it came to pass and continues to this day. Short-term rentals, for all of their positive points, can pose a threat to the integrity of this vision, now shared by the first residents' successors, to hold fast to the residential character of our unique neighborhood. The common dedication to this cause is evidenced by the many signatures presented to the Planning Commission some months ago. What other neighborhood has the cohesion and the passion demonstrated by Highland Park's residents who simply desire to preserve and maintain the beauty and quality of an area of our city that even the briefest drive-through makes obvious? As was observed in the open forum before the Planning Commission, no other residents have initiated a request such as ours, nor are they likely to do so. Should that occur, it remains the duty of the Planning Commission to perform due diligence as it has so thoroughly done for Highland Park's request. And again, for that, we remain profoundly grateful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. I've got Jay Cox.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I appreciate your time. So my wife and I own 2 Airbnbs, short-term rentals in Hamilton, and we love the city. We have other long-term rentals in the city as well. The transformation in the last 5 years for the city is commendable. You guys should all pat yourselves on the back. So one of the things about short-term rentals, short-term rentals in Hamilton is that Hamilton's not a vacation destination city, at least yet. We don't have an ocean, we don't have white shiny beaches, but what we do have is family. The majority of our guests are coming to Hamilton to spend time with their family. It could be a mother who's at Fort Hamilton Hospital, they want to come check on her. It could be home for Thanksgiving. It has been home for Thanksgiving. And my favorite one was we're coming to meet our first grandchild. So these are wonderful folks. I heard in the Planning Commission meeting that they were scared of strangers. Well, these are mostly Hamilton folks returning to either help with a grandparent, help with a mother, see a grandchild. These are not strangers to Hamilton. They don't come here to go on vacation. Some come to work a week, 10 days, but the majority of them are for meeting with their family. So the economic good thing for Hamilton, and we're very pro-Hamilton, is that my wife and I might eat out twice a month if it's a good month, like I would think most folks. But our guests, well, this month we checked our numbers, and instead of one resident, one address going to dinner twice, it was 22 dinners, lunches, breakfasts. Most folks don't cook. When they're here, many of them may be eating at family members' houses, but they eat out a lot. They go to the local facilities. We have lots of other examples of why it's a good idea to have folks be able to stay in Hamilton. And they don't want a drab hotel. We've heard it comment over and over. It was so lovely to be in a home that was clean and safe and comfortable. And it lets them go back home with a very good feeling about where Hamilton's headed. They probably know about its past, and they're very happy with it. So, I heard, like I said before, I heard a lot of fear in the last Planning Commission meeting. Like Hamilton was going to be inundated with Airbnbs all of a sudden. So we have some software that we monitor the industry. And in April of 2022, there were 85 short-term rentals. In April of 2023, there were 115. In April of this year, there's 142. At its highest peak, there was I think I said that wrong. April of 2024, there was 128. So at its highest peak, there were 142. That was the summer of 2022. So these businesses that are opening up for short-term rental, if they're not good at it, they have to go away. We live and die by our ratings, as does the guest. If we see somebody that has a 1 rating, we're going to decline. No thanks. We don't want those folks. So, in summary, I'm very sad when I hear decisions being made that come from fear of strangers, fear that crime's going to be going up from short-term rentals. I don't think those statistics can be shown to me. I don't think short-term rentals, we've had 0 issues with, we've been doing it for 3 years, almost 3 years. We've had 0 complaints from neighbors. We have one that's a duplex, and we have a person that's lived there since before we opened 3 years ago in the bottom. So the guests are above her. If anybody's going to complain, it's going to be her, and she's not had a single issue, nor have any of our guests ever had an issue. So I guess what I want to say is the fear and lack of facts shouldn't drive the creation of bans or regulations that are unwarranted. So that's really all I had to say. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
Thank you very much. My address, 7544 Newkirk Drive, Hamilton, Ohio.
You've got your wife speaking next.
Probably. If you call her name, she'll speak next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Name and address, please.
Robin Cox, 7544 Newkirk Drive, Hamilton, Ohio. We were at the commission meeting last, whatever it was, and there was a few things that were brought up, and I thought that you guys weren't there, but thought I would address some of those things. One of the things was that all these strangers coming into town or whatever, and as my husband said, lots of things are guessed. I have actual numbers. So like 28, and this is just for May, from our short-term rental, 28.7 of the stays were Miami parents and were people visiting family here in Hamilton, from Hamilton originally. 19.3% were from Spooky Nook, and 22.5 were work-related people. They came here to Hamilton to work. Out of that, so our rental was occupied 22 out of 31 days in May. So that's a vacancy of 29, only a vacancy of 29%. Mr. Von Stein was concerned that most of these short-term rentals are occupied on the weekends, but not during the week. And that's just inaccurate. So we do have a lot of weekends, but we have a lot of people coming through the week for family or working. So out of the, and I just brought my little calendar here, this is our thing. So the purple dates, purple is, just so we can see, the purple is the nights that are vacant, but that doesn't mean that it's totally vacant. So if they leave on Sunday, they leave at 11 o'clock in the morning or noon, and then our cleaners come and they're there until 4 o'clock. and then somebody doesn't spend the night, but then somebody's coming back on Monday, and they want an early check-in, of course, so at 2 o'clock. So we go over there at 11 to put the snacks in and whatever. So it's truly not vacant, even though the person isn't spending the night, if that makes sense. One other person from the Highland Park people said that these houses are 100 years old, and people with myself can't afford to upkeep these houses. Well, we just took down a chimney, replaced the roof, put a new HVAC, and changed the gas water heater to an electric water heater, all in 3 days to our house up on D Street. That wasn't a problem. We can do that. That's why we can do that. The last thing I want to say is that we shop small in Hamilton. Dan Bates and I, we talk about it all the time. We leave snacks. I just bought cupcakes from Luke's Bakery. I buy gluten-free cookies from Chubby Bunny for my people. We go to Unsung Salvage and get t-shirts. Let's see, where else? Flourish for decorations. I have a local artist, Terrence Huff, that's done some prints for us. We use the cleaning places. All of our contractors are right out of Hamilton. The photographer, and again, the restaurants. So people, they might eat their own breakfast and lunch, but listen, if I'm going out of town, I'm going to dinner. And they're gonna go to every place here. So my one house got 22 dinners in Hamilton for the month of May, as opposed to just my husband and I, we might go out twice. So anyway, that is all. Thank you very much.
Mayor?
Please.
May I ask you a question? So your Airbnb is in Highland Park?
No, we don't have any in Highland Park. My concern is that, I have 2 on D Street, and that if I don't want to have any more, 2 is plenty for me. But if someone else comes in and they would like to, Highland Park is a wonderful area. It's right in the middle of town. It's a perfect area to be in. I don't want you guys to prohibit, I'm agreeing with Sam, to prohibit somebody wanting to do that. And I'll piggyback on what Jay was saying, and what Amber, I think, will say, is that if these aren't ran well, you're going to get a bad review, and Airbnb will kick you off their site, number one. Number two, people don't want to stay at a bad Airbnb. So the upkeep has to be there. So Highland, I just don't want the city making the decision for a space, because then Lindenwold's next, then Jeffersonville's next, and then Prospect Hill, and then we don't have any, and now everybody's going to Liberty and stay in instead of here.
And did you buy them just to have them, turn them into an Airbnb?
Those 2 I did. So we have 21 doors in Hamilton. All of them are in Hamilton. 19 of them are long-term rentals that we've had for 5-7 years. 2 of them what we bought in 3 years ago, whatever that was, specifically for short-term rentals. Those
Thank
2.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Amber Larkin?
Hi, is your dad Don?
Yes.
So fun fact, I tried to get him to stay in my Airbnb, which he loved, but it was in the right neighborhood because I have a few of them. Okay. But I tried to get him. Yeah, he loved them. He was like, "You did a great job. These are beautiful. Just not the neighborhood I want." I bet if it was in Highland Park, he would have.
Name and address, please.
Oh, Amber Larkin, 3610 Milliken Road, Hamilton, Ohio. And so I am a property investor. That's what I do. It's my business. I'm here. I've been doing it for 4 years. In the past 4 years, I have invested over $4 million in Hamilton's properties. I mean, the rundown ones that the city are at the final stages of, like, if nobody buys this, we're leveling it. And I'm like, hey, I'll buy it. I fix it. They're beautiful, every piece of it. I follow every guideline. I have long-term. And then I got into short-term, not necessarily because I wanted to. It was because I've had to put so much money into making certain things livable that I can't make money as a long-term rental. So I'm like, let me try short-term. Let me see if people really want to come here. And lo and behold, we do. Lots of people believe in Hamilton. I'm one of the biggest. I use Shabby Chic. I mean, everybody in the downtown area would be like, we know her. She's in here regularly. And I encourage all of my people to come and do I want everybody to love Hamilton. Hamilton, it looks like in fact, there's an entire HGTV show about towns that were going down and are brought back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that Hamilton could have been it, but they took it and did it themselves. And people love it. I get wonderful reviews. They like the city. People have even talked about coming and moving here. Whenever I see what the different neighborhoods are trying to do, and the HOA, that's a whole different situation. But it's not a good precedent for the rest of the cities. And those of us who are here and we care and we live here, I promise you, I am in it for the business. If my business did not make sense, if I'm not making money in Hamilton, why am I here? In fact, many of my Airbnbs, there have been ones next door that are no longer operating because they weren't making money. And they still improved the properties. They were beautiful. They weren't doing it. So the fact saying, oh, it'll get overrun, we're not destined. Make no mistake, I would love it if Hamilton had that many people that wanted to come here and stay here. That is great for everyone involved. We're making money. They're going to be spending money at restaurant, bars, activities, all of the things. But the fact of the matter is, even the concerns that people brought up in the last meeting, using their own data in the neighborhood, half the people didn't even care enough to take the survey. And they tried. Liz said that she tried. We knocked on doors, we sent letters, we emailed, we did it, we tried, and they didn't even answer. And of the people that did answer, it was a majority, but not overwhelmingly. So there's a handful of very vocal folks, and I mean, give it to them. Like, good for you guys trying to make change, but there's not enough of you. A minority should not be able to come in and raise this much of a fuss to create a change for one neighborhood. And I would say that in any one of them. And again, I'm somebody who will raise Hayden to get things done. But it has to be the majority, and the majority didn't even answer. So like that right there. And then it was also brought up about the police and, oh, we're worried about crime. The fact of the matter is it's not supported. There aren't police being called. Liz brought that up too. She brought up the data and it wasn't. So if things change, by all means, but we're not at that point right now. And I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing and what I love in the city that I love because a minority is raising enough of a fuss. Make no mistake, I will help you. If people are being a pain, I will be the first one, like, let's get them out of here. But that's just not the case right now. So I thank you all for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Greg Irwin?
All right, I guess you guys have seen that sign around here. I'm from Highland Park. I live at 451 Emerson Avenue. I've been there since 1986.
You better stay close to the podium.
I better stay close. I'm not used to microphones, you know. Thank you, City Council and residents of Hamilton. I'm here for Highland Park residents. I'm not here for any business. And I really appreciate what the Airbnb people have done. Who are the Airbnb people here? Can I just see your hands? Do any of you own Airbnbs in Highland Park? Not yet? Okay, thank you. That's good to know. And does anybody have lived in Hamilton or have lived in Highland Park or have family in Highland Park? Does anybody live there? Okay, so you guys know what it's about. Regulation 75805 says the short-term rental unit shall not adversely affect the residential character of the neighborhood or adversely affect the general public health or safety and welfare. Should not adversely affect the residential character of the neighborhood. The residential character. We are trying to keep what we thought was a residential character until 2020 when the short-term rental program came in. We are trying to keep it to be a residential neighborhood. We are trying to keep what a neighborhood is. It's neighbors. It's not hotels. It's transient people. There's a lot of problems. I'm not going to talk about all the problems, the noise and the traffic. It hasn't been a big deal. But a good neighbor is a good deal. It's a big deal to me. A neighbor over 38 years. A neighbor who watches our cats and we watch their dogs. I help him out with his PA speakers. He's got a snowblower. He cuts my grass. I literally had a neighbor come over and catch my wife when she was having an epileptic fit. Honest to God, and take her help, call 911. A neighbor is invaluable. And an Airbnb takes that out of the neighborhood. It's a stranger. It's somebody you don't know. It's a definition of a stranger. And it's great to bring families into into Hamilton. I am not against Airbnbs. I love Airbnbs. I've stayed at them from Nashville to Anaheim to Shanghai. It's not Airbnbs. I think you guys are worried, and I get it. Well, if Highland Park gets it, what about over here? That's a good question. That's not our question, that's your question. When we had the meeting, the last meeting, the lawyer said, we'll take it one at a time. I think that's what he said. We'll take it one neighborhood at a time. That's what they suggested. It's a residential neighborhood. When families leave, that's when a house is an Airbnb, do you think a family wants to move in? You got kids that play in the backyard, a chain link fence, and you don't know who's next. And most of the people, I'm sure, are nice. Families are here. It's a stranger. It's a stranger. Maybe strangers are good and bad, but it's absolutely a stranger. You lose, families will move out. Our neighbor's already said, they've got 3 kids now. She's a teacher. She said, we wouldn't have probably moved in here if we knew there's going to be an Airbnb across the street. And we'll probably move out earlier. Do you think other families might feel the same way? No? I think, do you know what it's like living next to, does anybody live next to an Airbnb? Okay, here's what happens. This is what my neighbor told me. Oh, I'm going to keep an open mind. Let's, hey, how you guys doing? Oh, come on, kids, let's get in here. They make you feel like a creep. You try to be friendly, overly friendly, and they make you feel like a creep. They really do. It can happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. It's like somebody in the elevator. Hey, now, somebody said it's not a big deal right now. It's not a big deal right now because there's just a 1 or 2 in Highland Park. But there's not enough hotel rooms in Hamilton. The mayor told me in 5 years we're going to have plenty. Should Highland Park suffer because we don't have enough to take our families out? I don't think so. It'll adversely affect a neighborhood. You guys know about Marriott's coming in? I think the local people here are doing a great job for Airbnbs. Thank you. Please, we don't need you in Highland Park. We don't. We don't need you in Highland Park.
Okay, would you please direct your comments?
All right, I'm sorry, sir.
To the audience. I think it's a better way for us to try to understand what you're saying.
Sorry. I don't know if you've heard about this. Homes and Villas by Marriott is an international homes rental program. Marriott is currently in play to take over the private rental business. They're currently offering any Airbnb owners, managers, at least 250 doors, a very generous buyout. They're coming in here. It's not about what now, it's about the future. 5 or 10 or 20 years from now, this neighborhood will look completely different if we let hotels come in. We don't have neighbors. I just would like to end. 100 years ago, when they built our neighborhood. The Callahan and Reed's advertising called Highland Park, the place for a real home. This was the place where a successful Hamiltonian could build his dream home. This has become a dream neighborhood. They had a vision 100 years ago. Do we have a vision? Where are we going to be in 10 or 20, 30 years? Oh, it's okay if Marriott comes in. It's okay if we lose 30 or 40 houses to the best neighborhood. They walk to the schools and the churches. No, they're not maybe they got 22 meals, but we got families living there, full-time, churches and schools. Thank you for your time. I am passionate about this. 451 Emerson Avenue. Thank you.
All right, below you, Mr. Irwin, did you sign, did your wife sign? Or
I
not?
signed it.
Okay, it looks like your handwriting. Anyone else here who believes they signed the book who hasn't spoken yet? Okay, maybe you want to come up here, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I actually have a question for Mr. Irwin, if that's okay.
Sure, sure.
Greg, you went around to...
Let's come back up here, Greg.
You went around to a lot of the homes, right? Knocked on doors? You circulated?
Yes, I did. And I got kind of busy and I wanted to say that. And thank you for bringing that up. You were incorrect by saying not many, like a minority. We had 342 homes signed.
Okay.
That was homes, ma'am. That was homes.
Stop that. We're not going to have a dialogue, Greg.
Yeah, no.
You're going to talk to us.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
342 homes, 442 residents. We approached 400 homes, not the 660 homes. Most won't answer the door. And out of 400 homes, we had 342 homes. That's a great that's 88%. And the people who wouldn't sign said, I don't like my neighbor's house. I don't like my neighbor. I don't want the government telling me what to do. That's what they said. So it's a majority, 342 homes who answered out of 400.
Okay.
Honestly.
And they said overwhelming support.
Overwhelming support.
342 homeowners.
342 homes. You can check the signatures. We have them for you. I've got them and you've got them. 442 total, 342 homes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes. Dan, did you want to come up and speak? Come on up to the podium and give us your name and your address when you get up here, okay?
Hi, my name is Iwei Chong. It's 2887 Rochester. So, council members and mayor.
First off, can you spell your name
YIWEI.
and your last name, please?
CHENG.
And your address is 2887 what?
Rochester.
Rochester?
Rochester. Sorry, I always say Rochester.
And what's the mailing address on that?
Ave and Hamilton, Ohio 45011.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, first of all, thank you for being here so late. Like, I know it's getting late, so I just have a couple quick points to make. The first one is owners who own short-term rentals or any kind of properties have spent a lot of money in the property itself. So they don't want anything to happen to their property. They're not looking for guests or bad guests to come in and damage and throw parties, because that is more money for them to put back in and replace. So nobody is looking for guests there's no reason that any homeowner would want bad guests in their area. It causes issues for them, for their property, and the neighbors. So that is just something I want to point out. And then secondly, in regards to the ordinance, I feel like the city's jurisdiction is now getting involved in the HOA. So if HOAs have decided that they want to revise the bylaws or their HOA bylaws, that is completely up to the HOA themselves. Like, I don't think the city needs to be involved in changing HOA bylaws. So if a neighborhood wants to revise and prohibit short-term rentals, ban short-term rentals, allow short-term rentals. That is completely up to the HOA. That's why they have the president, the board, their bylaws. In regards to the other part of the ordinance, I think the way that the city is treating, allowing certain neighborhoods to have short-term rentals and prohibiting certain neighborhoods to not allow short-term rentals reminds me of back in the days when there were what we call redlining. Banks could give mortgages to these neighborhoods in these area, but banks would not give mortgages to neighborhoods in these other area. I think it sets a very bad perspective or viewpoint to other people who are seeing what is going on in the city. Is why are certain neighborhoods being discriminated? For example, some of the comments, in my opinion, seem a bit elitist. Like, how come you think your neighborhood should have this or not allow this, and the city can decide, yes, I agree with you, your neighborhood should not have any short-term rentals because you feel like you only want certain people to stay. And I don't think that is the perception the city wants others to see. So I think if the city in the ordinance already allows short-term rentals, there needs to be a way to be fair and not discriminatory to say what is allowed. And I feel like a lot of the ordinance is already really fair. Like, you're grandfathering a lot of the places in. I think that is great. But I think there needs to be more work out in that area of discriminating between the neighborhoods. So if the neighborhoods want to form their own HOA and start changing the bylaws, I think that could be something they could do, but I don't feel like the city needs to be stepping in and saying, yes, we agree with you, your neighborhood should not have this. Because the only difference between a short-term rental and a regular rental is the 30 days or however the city is defined. So it could be another arbitrary number. For example, Milford has it at 6 months, like anything under 6 months is a short-term rental. So that is the part that I feel really sticky, is discriminating certain neighborhoods and not others. So that's all I have.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience wish to be heard about short-term rentals tonight? Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else? Okay. This is a public hearing, so you gotta give us your name and your address, okay?
Sure, absolutely. My name's Neil Biederman. I live at 1002 Gray Avenue, Hamilton. This is nothing personal in that. It's, as far as Highland Park, I think the residents of the neighborhood have spoken at that. They just don't want them there. There are other cities in this country that have also banned Airbnbs, New York City being one of them. It's just, I'm sorry that the residents of Highland Park don't want the Airbnbs there. It has, I don't know, it makes me stop and wonder about what happened in Cincinnati in March. The Airbnb or short-term rental had a party one night. The party got out of hand, there was a shooting happened, and a 21-year-old student was killed. I'm sorry, the residents of Highland Park really do not want it. Thank you.
Your name again was what?
It's Neil Biederman. I'm a property owner and a business owner here in Hamilton.
Okay, how do you spell your last name?
It's Biederman.
Great. Thank you. Okay. All right, we're not going to go too much longer because I think we've already heard everything, but come on up. It's a public hearing, but keep it kind of brief if you could.
My name is Lorraine Irwin. I live at 451 Emerson Avenue, Highland Park, Ohio, Hamilton, Ohio. I just want to just reiterate the fact that what confuses me the most is that we are a residential neighborhood, and I don't understand why Airbnbs can come in when they are commercial properties. And that's what very much confuses me. Are we a residential neighborhood? I would like to keep Highland Park a residential neighborhood. And the other thing that I think is important is that we, as a neighborhood, with my husband hoofing it all over the neighborhood to get signatures, that the majority of Highland Park do not want these Airbnbs in here. If the rest of the neighborhoods in Hamilton do not want them, get somebody out there hoofing the streets to see if your neighborhood wants it. And I think that is a fair way to determine whether your neighborhood has them or not. And I think city council can go neighborhood by neighborhood to determine that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. If no one else in the audience wishes to say anything, how about anyone on council wishes to say anything or make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. This morning I was talking to a friend of mine on an unrelated matter. And he pointed out to me, and he lives walking distance from St. Peter and Chains, a very, very short walk from St. Peter and Chains. This past week, the house across the street from him, which is his 2-story, at a party. That house is owned by a commercial rental company out of Alabama that bought that home. In that home, there was a party that had 16 people making noise at 2 o'clock in the morning. It woke my friend and his friend up. He walked over at 2 o'clock in the morning and asked those very nice people, please calm down or I'll have to call the police. It is apparent to me that Airbnbs, short-term rentals, can be problematic. I've had neighbors, I mentioned that earlier, who are here tonight in Highland Park who have called me and said, Councilman Nab, we don't like having Airbnbs next door to us. We have a swimming pool, and those people are coming over and swimming in our swimming pool. We have a basketball hoop, and those nice people are coming over and shooting baskets at all hour of the night in our basketball hoop and climbing into our swimming pool. If the owners of Airbnbs are here tonight and they contest those comments, it's very, very nice of you. Glad you're here, glad you've invested hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, as we heard tonight, in our city. It's up to you as a local property owner with a business that makes money to monitor those people who choose to rent those homes and not have incidents like we've heard tonight from property owners that are in our city. Sam, I appreciate your call. I appreciate the conversation we had the other afternoon. I appreciate you calling me back to say, Tim, you're butt dialing me. But importantly, we're listening to all of you tonight. We hear the pros and the cons. We want our city to be business friendly. When Spooky Nook proposed to us 8-9 years ago to create a wonderful place, and it is, for tens of thousands of people to come in, we realized that Airbnb and vacation rentals would be an opportunity for our city. We welcome those businesses, but we also have a registration policy here that hasn't been tended to. We know there are Airbnbs and vacation rental properties out there in our city that are not registered. If you're going to be here, play by the rules, be nice. We heard about people that are shopping locally and supplying their properties with wonderful things that are Hamilton made, Hamilton bought, Hamilton purchased, all the restaurants that are appreciating the business from your customers that are here for a few nights stay or a week or 2 weeks stay. We want families to come back home at Thanksgiving and Christmas time and other times during the summer to reappreciate what they had when they were growing up here. So please understand, we heard all of the comments, all of you who were so well prepared tonight. Thank you for being so. Thank you for coming and sharing your positionings with us tonight. We hope that, as the mayor shared in our conversations this evening and in the next weeks to come, before this will become a vote on the floor of council, you're welcome to come back again for that vote that night. But please know that we have a job to do here in our city to protect the integrity of our city and to maintain the current integrity and the future integrity for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 more years to come, as Highland Park has been an integrity place to raise a family for the past 100 years. Thank you very much.
Councilman Nash. Okay. Anyone on council wish to be heard other than Mr. Knapp and make a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Pullman.
I have some comments.
Okay.
Probably won't get applause, but that's all right. This is a tough subject, and I don't know if we say who's right or who's wrong in this. I think it's a preference. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, the people that have called me against it or for it. I appreciate you have a right to your opinion. I want to tell you I do not own an Airbnb. I have no intention of owning one. I do have an Airbnb right next door to me. I live in Governor's Hill. We have a pretty nice neighborhood. We're a pretty tight community there too. And I'll be honest with you, we've had zero issues. Some of my neighbors have big parties, and I have zero issues with them too. They do it's pretty respectable. I know that the neighbor that owns this, he's retired. He lives in Florida sometimes, and then he's back up here. He doesn't want to give up his Florida place, so the income from his Airbnb, from what he told me, helps him afford his Florida lifestyle too. And I know if there was a problem, I would go directly to him and tell him that I have a problem with this. That said, I have to tell everyone I personally don't have issues with Airbnbs right now. I've always believed that property owners should have the right to do what they want as long as they obey our ordinance we have in place now. I really don't agree with government pushing, or I don't really agree pushing more government on homeowners. I really think we have a lot of ordinances, and I really don't know if this is the right thing. And I'm worried, like Mr. Scott here said, we're telling visitors come to our town and then leave and spend their money elsewhere. That does kind of concern me when we prohibit short-term rentals. We might be setting a precedent that we could regret if we allow this prohibition. One thing I do believe is that Airbnb owners, he mentioned Alabama, I think you should live in the state or locally so that we can get a hold of you very easily. And there should be some certain regulations that we need to look at every time on this. Maybe we don't have enough regulations. Maybe we need to look into that. And I'm willing to discuss this with anybody. When I was elected in 2020, I made a promise to be a servant of the citizens of our great city. And I've always said that if council members should respect the voice of the people, even if it goes against our beliefs or opinions, it is our job to make sure we do the best we can, no matter what the outcome is. Again, we serve our citizens, and every voice is important. I'm dedicated to the citizens to help them in any way to make sure they get the attention they deserve, and I support this decision, whatever the outcome is. I haven't made my decision yet, okay? What I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to look into this a lot more. But I hope everybody respects everybody's opinion. I hope you respect my opinion as much as I do yours. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else on council wish to make a comment or make a motion at this time?
Mayor,
Councilmember Fear.
I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Fear, seconded by Councilmember Ryan. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, that motion is carried. That public hearing is closed at 8:02. Okay, now, public hearing, I guess it's number 5.
A public hearing regarding amending a zoning ordinance of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by removing the June 12, 2024 date from emergency ordinances EOR 2023-12-103 to continue to regulate marijuana cannabis operations, marijuana cannabis cultivation, and marijuana cannabis dispensaries via Section 1250 zoning land use chart, permitted uses, conditional uses, accessory uses, and Section 3900 glossary as previously amended by said emergency ordinance.
Okay. For the record, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a first reading tonight and a public hearing tonight with the vote not being until June the 12th on this. So we do have 4 different cannabis-related ordinances tonight involving cannabis business activity. Nothing that we vote on now, on June 12th, nothing we vote on June 12th will affect recreational marijuana in any shape or form. These 4 ordinances have to do with the business of marijuana, as does this particular public hearing. So, if anybody's speaking tonight from the podium, there's no vote tonight on this particular issue covered by this public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard at this public hearing? Come on up. Give us your name and your address when you get up here, sir.
Samuel Sanders, 12
Okay,
Curtis.
make sure I got your name spelled right. Is it
Okay.
S-A-M and Sanders, S-A-N-D-E-R-S?
Samuel Sanders.
S-A-N-D-E-R-S.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's your address, please?
12 Curtis Drive, Hamilton, Ohio.
Okay.
We should be here today on social justice first. It was very important to voters righting all the wrongs due to prohibition and the cannabis discrimination that took place in this city and the USA. Should be the first things addressed. There have been many instances in this city of cannabis discriminations in every area of life for a lot of people. Many small farmers gave up much of their life to study this plant so others can be healed and have a more enjoyable life. People arrested over cannabis should simply first be the ones in line to get any kind of license. The injustices that exist need corrected, solved. And if anyone is unaware of what these injustices were, I can, at the next meeting, bring all these up. I think it's very important as a city to correct those. That's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Anyone else, John, wish to be heard at this public hearing? Okay, anyone on council wish to make a comment or make a motion at this time?
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Pullman.
make a motion that the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Pullman, seconded by Councilmember Nab. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is carried. That public hearing is closed at 8:06. And I'll accept the motion that the regular meeting be reconvened.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Fear, seconded by Councilmember Ryan. Roll call vote on that motion to reconvene the regular meeting.
Moeller,
Yes?
Pullman,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Okay, we now go to council actions pertaining to legislative items, and I'll accept the motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor Pullman.
move a motion that a note be made upon the minutes that each member of council was furnished a printed copy of each item of legislation prior to its being considered at this meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Pullman, second by Councilmember Bond. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is carried at 8:07. So we now go to the pending legislation. Agenda item number 6, second reading of an ordinance involving the 80 acres utility economic development agreement.
An ordinance authorizing the execution of the Third Amendment to the Utility Economic Development Agreement between the City of Hamilton and 80 Acres Investments, LLC, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Fear.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Fear, second by Councilmember Ryan. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Go to agenda item number 7, second reading of an ordinance involving taxation exemption Champion Mill project.
An ordinance amending ordinance number OR 2019-5-40 to extend the exemption from taxation granted thereunder for the Champion Mill project and authorizing compensation payments during the extension period to the Hamilton City School District, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Pullman. Comments on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Moeller,
Yes.
Pullman,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Fear,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Nab,
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Go to agenda item number 8, which is second reading of an ordinance involving a right-of-way.
An ordinance approving a right-of-way dedication plat for part lot 28850 Shattuck Creek Apartments LLC as a right-of-way located at Gateway Avenue and Tyersville Road, 6th Ward, North Side, City of Hamilton. Applicant, second reading.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the ordinance be adopted.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Vice Mayor Ryan. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted, 7-0.
Go to agenda item number 9, first reading of an ordinance involving the short-term rental license program.
An ordinance amending and supplementing the codified ordinances of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by amending Chapter 758 short-term rentals relative to the City of Hamilton short-term rental license program. City of Hamilton applicant, first reading.
Go to agenda item number 10, it's emergency ordinance involving cannabis cultivators, processor, dispensaries.
Emergency ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by removing the June 12, 2024 date from the Chapter 723 cultivators, processors, and dispensaries of adult use cannabis as enacted by emergency ordinance number EOR 2023-12-102 to continue to prohibit adult use cannabis cultivators, processors, and dispensaries after June 12, 2024. First reading.
Okay, now go to agenda item number 11, emergency ordinance, first reading involving zoning and the same cannabis operation.
An emergency ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by removing the June 12, 2024 date from emergency ordinance number EOR 2023-12-103 to continue to regulate marijuana cannabis operations, marijuana cannabis cultivation, and marijuana cannabis dispensaries via Section 1250 zoning land use chart, permitted uses, conditional uses, accessory uses, and Section 3900 glossary as previously amended by said emergency ordinance. First reading.
We go to agenda item number 12, first reading of an ordinance involving use, possession, distribution of adult use cannabis.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by amending and supplementing Chapter 180 substance abuse testing for certain employees to clarify that use, possession, and distribution of adult use cannabis is prohibited for all city employees. First reading.
And number 12, first reading of an ordinance clarifying the prohibition for city employees. Excuse me, now it's number 13. My fault. It's number 13.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Hamilton, Ohio by amending and supplementing Chapter 186 substance abuse testing for all municipal employees not covered under Chapter 180 to clarify that use, possession, and distribution of adult use cannabis is prohibited for all city employees. First reading.
Okay, we go to agenda item number 14, first reading of an ordinance involving amending the pay range of the city clerk.
An ordinance amending Schedule A of the city's classification and compensation plan as set forth in emergency ordinance number EOR 2023-12-106, adopted December 13, 2023, as amended from time to time by amending the pay range of the city clerk classification. First reading.
And we go to number 15, which is a resolution authorizing and ratifying of a grant for the from the Hamlin Foundation for the Train Depot Restoration Project.
A resolution authorizing, directing, ratifying, and supporting the filing of a grant application for the Hamilton Community Foundation capital grants for Train Depot Restoration Project.
Mr. Mayor.
Hold on one second. Okay, Councilmember Knapp.
I move that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Knapp, second by Vice Mayor Pullman. Any comment or discussions on this? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Now go to agenda item number 16, which is a resolution involving the execution of community reinvestment agreement involving Cohatch.
A resolution authorizing and directing the execution of a community reinvestment area agreement with CRDV Hamilton LLC, doing business as Cohatch.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Councilmember Ryan. Comments or discussion on this one? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes.
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Now go to agenda item number 17, Resolution involving a grant application to OKI involving 4 electric charging stations.
A resolution authorizing and directing the submission of a grant application to the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments Carbon Reduction Program relative to funding 4 electric charging stations and authorizing the city manager to execute any and all documents to receive said grant funds if awarded.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Vaughn, second by Councilmember Fear. Comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
To agenda item number 18, it's a resolution involving ODR program relative to improvements to Riverside Natural Area.
A resolution authorizing and directing and supporting the filing of a grant application with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, NatureWorks program relative to improvements to Riverside Natural Area, including improved walking paths, pollinator gardens, planting trees, and authorizing and directing the city manager to comply with and execute any and all documents necessary to accept and receive said grant funds if awarded.
Mayor.
Vice Mayor Pullman.
Make a motion that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Pullman, second by Councilmember Nab. Can I ask who in the city is working on this grant? You are, okay, good. I just want to say thank you. I mean, it's an area which I think needs to be developed a little bit. I know some folks are working on it and trying to keep it up, but getting the grant from the DNR is great.
Thank you.
Good luck
Good job,
with that.
Daniel.
Don't be so slow in moving that hand up. You're going to be proud of that.
Any other comments?
Good job.
Okay, roll call vote.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Good for agenda item number 19, a resolution involving, looks like our side lot program.
A resolution approving the lease of certain real property located within the city of Hamilton, Ohio's urban renewal area to an adjoining property owner as a side lot, 924, 926, and 930 Vine Street.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Fear.
I move that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion being made by Councilmember Fear, second by Councilmember Ryan. Questions on this one? Comments? Hearing none. Roll call.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
You go to agenda item number 20, also a side lot resolution involving 1024 Azel, 1115 Garden, and 1225 Parkamo.
A resolution approving the conveyance of certain real properties acquired through the land bank to adjoining property owners as a side lot, 1024 Azel Avenue, 1115 Garden Avenue, 1225 Parkamo Avenue.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Vaughn.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
By Councilmember Vaughn, seconded by Councilmember Ryan. Discussion on this one? None. Roll call on this number 20.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, 7-0.
Good for agenda item number 21, a resolution involving the Ordinance Review Commission.
A resolution appointing Mark Kyle to serve on the Ordinance Review Commission of the City of Hamilton, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2024 and terminating December 31st, 2024.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember
I
Nab.
move the resolution be adopted.
Second.
By Councilmember Nab, second by Vice Mayor Pullman. Discussion on this one. Hearing none. Roll call.
Moeller.
Yes?
Pullman.
Yes.
Ryan.
No.
Fear.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Nab.
Yes.
Lauer.
Yes.
Motion is adopted 6-1.
Okay.
That resolution is adopted 6-1, sorry.
Audience of City Manager.
Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Audience of City Council.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Lauer.
I just want to thank all the firemen that came to town and participated and were actively out in our community. I think it was a great event. I'm very happy that we could represent the firemen here.
Yep. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Ryan.
piggyback on Councilman Lauer's comment. I know Susan and I were able to attend the opening ceremonies the other day. It was a very moving experience. I thought it was very, very touching and very well organized group. And I really want to thank Tony Harris and the local 20 here in town for bringing this event to the city. I know they worked really, really hard to showcase Hamilton, and I think they hit a home run with this. So thank you to Local 20.
It was great. The program was wonderful. They included Hamilton High, and one of the students sang the music. It was really impressive.
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor Pullman.
I want to congratulate Councilman Nab for a great job Saturday. The banners looked fantastic. The ceremony was excellent. You had good weather. Great speaker with Mr. Malone up there. Very proud of what you did. I had nothing but positive comments, and I still hear positive comments. And it was good to see my dad up there. It's a good memory of him. So it's awesome. And they're all over town. I guess pretty much hung up now, I think. But just a great job. Thanks for your hard work. I know it's very passionate for you and everybody else that's involved. I can't name everybody, but I want to thank everybody on that. Okay?
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Vaughn.
I just want to announce or remind everyone that 1 month from today, Saturday, June 22nd, is our Neighborhood Summit. 17 Strong Department of Neighborhoods have been working very hard since a year ago when we had our first summit. It's going to be at Hamilton High School, 8:30 to 1 p.m. You must get tickets ahead of time, but it will cover the breakfast, the lunch, but more importantly, the sessions, the resources that you will come across, meeting your neighbors, meeting others in Hamilton. We had a few hundred last year. We're probably expecting more this year. The theme is, how do you do? And it means, of course, how do you do? Get to meet your neighbors, but also, how do you do that? Like, how do I contact 311? So thanks to the very clever Mallory Greenham for that theme. I think it's going to be a fun conference, and we look forward to everyone being there. So you can go online, you can go through the city, you can go through 17 Strong, or contact me. We'll make sure you get tickets. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? I also want to thank the firefighters for being here, the Local 20 and the entire state of Ohio group. Ones I've talked to have really enjoyed Hamilton. They enjoyed the opening ceremonies, and it was very meaningful. If you do see a firefighter, I think they're only going to be in town probably maybe partway through tomorrow. Thank them for their service, their fire service. They're all great folks. Hamilton is, of course, blessed to have public safety like we do. They do things behind the scenes that we don't know about. And some of the stories are life-saving. And it's pretty amazing what those men and women do for our police and our fire department. They do protect and serve our city. Memorial Day is coming up, and it's a day which is being, it's going to be a thank you to Vietnam veterans. And there'll be other veterans as well, but there's a wreath ceremony at 9:30 at the monument. 10 o'clock parade kicks off. 11:15 is the ceremony at the Greenwood Cemetery. But it's going to be a keynote speaker of a gentleman named Lawrence Gillespie. If you know the Gillespie family, they grew up in Hamilton. I mean, they became basketball coaches, teachers, brigadier generals, just a fine family from Hamilton, Ohio. And if you get a chance to go to that ceremony, I'm sure it'll be rewarding. And another true Hamilton hero is this General Lawrence Gillespie. Okay, if there's no one else wishing to speak, executive session, Mr. City Manager?
There is, Mr. Mayor. To consider the appointment, dismissal, or discipline of a public employee or official, as well as to confer with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to imminent court action.
Your motion, the council go into executive session for those stated purposes given by the city manager.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, how about Councilmember Nab? First, I'm going to say Vice Mayor Pullman for second. And let's do a roll call, please.
Moeller?
Yes.
Pullman?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Fear?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Nab?
Yes.
Flower?
Yes.
Motion adopted, 7-0.
Go to executive session at 8:23. We'll come out of the executive session only to adjourn the regular meeting. The public business is now closed. We'll go to executive session.